Hello, good morning. Welcome to Sunday Live discussion session with me, Antara. Uh, our Sunday Live discussion sessions are dedicated to authors and people from the literary field to have a heart to heart, candid discussion about their work. And today is a day less where we have a special guest with us. She is a very young author. Her name is Prachi Prangya Agasti. Prachi uh, is pursuing her MBA in HRM. She is a painter. She also loves to read, and she has already published 6 books. Uh, so today we are going to talk about one of her book, which I'm really glad that my Secret Bookshelves online bookstore has curated, or we have the book with us on our online bookstore, and it is Dance with Me. Um, it is said that heartbreak changes everything. It takes you to die 1,000 times in pain before you appreciate the phase of moving on. So this line comes from Prachi's romance novel Dance with Me. And this story is about this is a love story, yes, of course, but then this story talks about two heart in love, which suffers together and then heals together in love. And I'm sure there's so much more to this story that I want to discuss with Prachi herself. So without wasting further time, let me introduce and let me invite Prachi to join me now. I'll just send her an invite and then we'll take the conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Prachi Prangya Agasti. We are waiting for Prachi to join us. Hey, Prachi, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So, I have already given a brief about your romance novel, Dance with Me. Uh, Thank you so very much, Prachi, to join me today. I know it's a Sunday morning and it's a bit difficult for us to go about it, but then I'm so glad that we are doing it. And I think we have been knowing each other for such a long time. And finally, we get to do this. So I'm really glad. Yeah, how have you been doing, Prachi?
Yeah. Yeah, actually it's fine. Like on a Sunday morning, it's totally fine to go live and talk to people about my book. And it's really great to see you. And yeah, so
Thanks. So let's start our session, and there are few people who are saying hi to you. So
hi.
I'll read out the comments later on, and let's start with our session. Let's start with our first question. Prachi, I've read Dance with Me, and every time I was flipping through the pages, I was like, oh my God, how can such a young writer, young as in you are in your mid 20s, so, and I have been like, how can such a young mind come up with such a story, such detailed, intricate, descriptions of characters, of situations, of emotions. So I really want to know what inspired you to come up and write a love story.
Yeah, so the Dance with Me was a figment of my imagination. I had always thought that what if the people who have been separated and what if they have suffered a heartbreak and they meet after 5 years or 2 years or 3 years, like how would they feel? sometimes when we feel a heartbreak, when a person leaves us, it turns into anger, it turns into resentment, and it turns into hatred. So what if you face that person after 5 years? Would that same feelings be there? Because I believe that if you love someone truly, the feelings would never go away. They somehow stay within your heart, maybe in a part of your heart. So that was the initiation of my story, Dance With Me. So the characters, I tried to bring out the personality of the people around me, like of some of my friends, or like how their
Oh
personality.
my God, tell me who is Arav Singhania?
No, no, that is not to
is, is he still single? I
that
will
is
come back to the characters later.
Yeah, so I tried to take their personality and put it in my character so that it would become very lively and would help me to write also while imagining. So I put them there. But then also I have seen in my life, like within the people around me, like I have seen to some of my friends that who have been separated, but they have been coming back together after a few years. Like they have been trying
Right,
again.
right.
I wanted to show the process. Like you hate the person at first, there is anger, there
Hmm.
is like you want to know the reasons. Then you cannot even hide your feelings. Then you surrender to it, or you let it go, or what happens
Right.
next. So that is
Yes.
the story, like the theme I wanted to show to my readers. So
Right.
basically, that was the
And it's
inspiration.
and it's very complicated. Like any trope of love would be very complicated, and I think this, uh, as you mentioned, love, hate, and then coming back and going away. So this is a very complicated topic, and I have always, like, when I was reading it, I was like, how can Prachi come up with it? So I think I really enjoyed it, especially all the parts where um, Arav Singhania was there, the way you described him, and um, his personality. I was very glad that somewhere you had also mentioned that he is a middle-aged person and he is not that young. There is an age difference between both the lead characters. So I really like that, and I think you have done a great job, and it really takes great eye as well as great writing skill to come up with something like that. So kudos to you. And I am so glad that I have Dance With Me on our online bookstore. And this is, like, I think, wonderful start of the month which celebrates love, like we're talking about a love story like this. So thanks, Prachi. Uh, Moving on, I know that you have already written 6 books. It's a commendable achievement. Um, I really want to know what extent of research do you generally go into? Not for maybe your poetries. I know you write a lot of poetry, but for such novels, full-length novels, what extent of research do you need to go
Uh, uh, because see, if you're writing a novel, it consists of various parts. Like the emotional part is there, but then there are also some things that you need to state it right. Like in Dance With Me, the characters, the what they do, like their job
to?
description, like it's a fashion designer for
Hmm.
and
Right,
I
right.
do not have any idea about fashion. So I tried to see how the fashion world operates. Like what are the terms that needs to be used in the book while
Hmm.
you are writing, and what are the fashion shows? What are the clothes like they wear or shows that they do? What are they called? I did not have any idea before writing this book. So for that I went into research about fashion and that world. And then also if you're creating a character, then like for example the book I'm writing now, it is a different genre altogether. It's a mystery thriller, and so I'm writing certain things. Like there are certain facts that actually we need to do research before putting on the facts in the book, because if the facts are not correct, then it would not be relevant to the readers.
Absolutely. Yes,
So
yes,
that
yes.
is the extent of research that needs to be done while writing the book. And also what type of language, like if you're writing for a specific age group, then you need to know what type of language that you should like try to write in the book. For example, in my first book, I that was my first book altogether, so I did not have any idea. I just wrote it because whatever I felt, I wrote it. So I got the feedback that there are some difficult words that they were used, and like the phrases that were used were difficult to understand. So while writing the like next book, if I want those books to be read within a age group of 13 to 20 or something like that, but then I have to simplify the language a bit.
Right,
So
right, right.
that is also you have to keep in mind while writing the book.
Hmm.
So
And I
that
think
is, yeah.
I have. So you have mentioned a very important thing that the backgrounds, the work, the industry needs to relate and need to come out, because there are people who are actually from this industry and they would understand. Uh, so yes, of course, I think every writer goes through this amount of research. I have always mentioned that writers are all like almost equivalent to an actor, right? So they are all adorning different hats. So like it's not necessary that you will understand or you will know a certain aspect of life, but then you are researching and trying to develop. So it's really great. And uh, and w- one thing that I have felt that um, it I have felt that there are maybe influences of very well known romance novels in the scenes uh, where especially Janvi and Arav comes together, all these steamy scenes. So maybe because we read a lot those novels, so maybe they might have remained with you while writing these scenes or these characters, and then maybe you have written it. But I think this gives a very um, homegrown side of the story. So it's really wonderful to go and read, and it's 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 like good, I think, good feeler or it makes you feel really good about it. It's like you can carry it to your beach or your poolside, have a good sunny morning, spend your time reading this book. That's really nice, and I think you have done a really great job with it. Um,
Thank you.
um, I would also like to go and mention about your. I know you write a lot of poetry, and you have already published two books. Recently, you have published Dearest Love, and before that, there was one more book. The name of the book is skipping my mind. I think it's Empty Road
MP
and
and
Broken
broken words.
Words. Yes. So tell me more about your writing style, your poetry writing style.
Yeah. So, poetry, I think I was writing poems in school, really, that much deep. But,
Hmm.
like picking up a particular topic and then you are going to write about it.
Hmm.
Like maybe it is about spring, or it is about something that a topic is given. But then when I started reading more poetry, I actually fell in love with poetry. So
Hmm.
I felt that like many people write poems which are having rhyming scheme, but then I felt that
Hmm.
somehow when I read the poetry which were very free verse, then I felt that those were actually the poetry where they that allow you to write whatever your heart says. It does not restrict
Hmm.
you to the rhyming scheme. So my style of
Hmm.
writing poetry is free verse. I try to write whatever that comes to my mind, comes to my imagination, and then I
Hmm.
put it down in poetry. Maybe I refine it a bit after I read it two
Hmm.
to three times, but then that is my first attempt to poetry. And when I started writing poetry, it really became my favorite. I felt like after a point of time, I felt like I was writing more poetry and I have forgotten how to write
Hmm.
short stories anymore, because it was like a, whatever I was feeling, I was just writing in poetry only. And the
Right, right.
Dearest Love is such a collection. It's a journey of a love, and it is kind of and I tried to show it in the book, like from starting from falling in love to pain, and then
Hmm. Hmm.
doing sacrifice and then letting it go. There are many, and that book especially is a very close to my heart, and I felt like that I have poured my heart into that book, and I felt like maybe readers would connect to it because it is showing a journey of a love, and a love that is not complete. It does not get complete. It is remains unfinished. So
Oh my God. Okay, so you want to show the book to our friends, to me?
yeah,
How does the cover look?
so this is
Yay.
Dearest Love,
Hmm.
and there is a moon. I had chosen this cover especially because I liked it, and yeah. So Dearest Love is like a you are writing a letter, so you are just
Hmm.
addressing Dearest Love, and then you are
Hmm.
writing a poem, because there
Hmm.
is like the protagonist, the girl, she does not know how to express her emotions in words, like face to
Hmm.
face. Rather than she writes poetry for her lover. So that is the story.
Wow, great. So, would you like to share or recite any of your poems for us today, or you want to read anything?
Yeah, sure. I can read a poem from Dearest
Yeah.
Love.
Hmm.
So, one second. Yeah, so I had written this poem. Pain and hope cannot be lovers.
Okay.
Pain and hope cannot be lovers, or so I had molded my mind into, after N punctures and repair therapies of this liability called heart. I couldn't look at the light for existence, because fading is what I believed in. Mask became the armor and trauma the flesh inside. I could paint millions of stories, sad and shattered, listening to ghazals at night with a glass of whiskey, to drown in the tragedy called love. But breaking the walls was a wise, wise decision. Pain and hope surrendered, weaving themselves into each other, like you and me, so beautifully, placing forever into the hand of someone who might just vanish by sleight of hand. Yet the safe haven we slowly shape into an impact so strong that as long as I belong to you, hope exists, etched into my skin like a tattoo I carry. Even when there is an empty seat beside, even when your existence lasts for just some moments, I still smell like love with every breath of yours. While pain starts to bite your warm skin, you absorb the coldness with all you have, because you, hope and pain have now become lovers, like you and me meant to be.
Wow. Beautiful. I think poetry is more heart touching, and it takes a lot of uh, words, like words meant to come out of your inner self to compose and write poetry, and it's not everyone's cup of tea. And you have done, like, if you enjoy writing, composing poetries, then you're doing a great job. And Prachi, thank you so much for reading and reciting your poem for us, for me. Um, I think there's a lot of comments going on. So I would like to go through and read out a couple of them. I would also like to say a big hi to all the friends that have joined us today, my friends, your friends. And
Yeah.
I think leg pulling is something that everyone is uh, like have faced in this country. And people are I have always, I do not want to use the term misogynist, but I think there are people who are very judgmental. And I think like let's keep it aside. So let me go through the I hope you have got the hint and what
Yeah.
I'm trying to refer to. So let's I think every attention, every troll is part, it's actually pushing us to
To
the
go
top.
forward.
So
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. So ask me more about it. So I know more about it. So let's keep all those things aside and let's go through the comments. Before that, I would like to say that Dance With Me is available on our online bookstore. So you need to visit www.mysecretbookshelf.co.in and you will receive a copy of Dance With Me. And Prachi is such a sweetheart that she is going to send everyone a personalized handwritten note, whoever buy purchases the book. So don't let this offer, this opportunity go by. So yes, so let me go and read out the comments. Uh, I can see Shruti Thora is here, so thank you, Shruti Thora. And Shruti, I hope she's still there. Thank you for joining. Jiganshu is there. She is saying hi to you, Prachi. So thanks,
Hi.
Jiganshu, for joining. Uh, okay, so there is gift. Okay, so there is someone is saying that I'm going to buy this book to gift it out. Okay, that's really great. Please do purchase this book. You can buy it from our online bookstore. Love is light and hate is dark. Never allow dark cover the light. And that's Jamal Malik. I think that's a beautiful sentence, which I really like. Uh, there is Dipan Tripathi. He is saying hi all, and then there is someone who's saying that why Chetan Bhagat is more famous with equal number of books, and is it because of marketing or because of content quality? I think this question should be asked to Chetan Bhagat and not to us. Maybe you need and then, yes, I think there is no end to research and learning, right?
Yeah.
We learn, like I am 38 and of course I'm still learning, and there are so many other people who learn. Like I'm still evolving. My secret bookshelf is still evolving, and you might not even have the idea of what we are going through and the extent of studies, research that we do. So, yes, of course, thanks for your valuable feedback. And Prachi and I are going to take care of that and keep in mind. There is someone who's saying, thanks, Prachi. There is amazing, amazing Prachi, nice poem. Uh, and then for there is someone, Kintali, who's saying hi. And then,
Hi.
okay, that's really great. Uh, okay, so romance can't beat magic. Yes, of course. I think romance is magic and magic is romantic. So everything is interconnected. It
Yeah.
just needs your perspective,
It
your
depends
outlook,
on
how
the
you see it.
perspective of the people, like how they
Right,
portray love and romance in their own words. For
absolutely. And art is subjective, just like something might not be. I just wish people had read more. So, you know, if I like something, it is not necessary that some other would also like
Yeah,
that particular thing, right? Because it's
yeah,
art. So
yeah.
it's very subjective, and it depends upon my mood as well as my understanding of things, how much I grasp it. So
Yeah,
yes,
because I
so
am also like I read a lot of books. Yeah, so I write and I read a lot of books. So sometimes I also compare my writing with the books I read, because the books I read, obviously I fall in love with them. Like I read them. So I always believe like whatever we do, whatever we are doing, like it is our passion. That is why we are doing it. And if we are growing with it, then that is your like you are going forward. And I always believe that I do not know how famous I get through writing, or how like how much people like I always want that my writing should reach more and more people, not just
right,
my aim is like
absolutely.
how famous should I get. My aim is how much should I grow with my writing. Like my I have seen my writing style have been changed from 2015
Hmm.
to till
Hmm.
now, and I've seen that change. So I know that with time it will get molded and molded into different
Absolutely.
things, and that is the
Yes.
only aim of my life. Like that is why I do this.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think it's the passion that is the driving factor,
Yeah.
uh, which should mean and matter more rather than anything else. So if there is a passion, then follow it. And I think your writing oozes passion, and because why would otherwise such a person, like why would someone would end up writing something if it is he's not passionate about it? So I think
Yeah.
passion rules everything. So so I think all my support goes to you, and all my best wishes for all your books, release books, and any other book that is coming about. We'll talk about that later. Moving on to your debut book, Just Once. Would you like to share the blurb, the genre of the book, that and
Yeah.
like what was the feeling of seeing your first book published?
So, Just Once is a novel that I started writing in school, like in 11th and 12th. So in 11th and 12th, I was into reading too much. I was not reading my textbooks in college school, rather than I was reading novels. And me and my best friend would sit in the school and discuss. Like I would read a novel, and I would narrate a story to her, and I became a kind of like a storyteller. I wanted to be that. I wanted to write a story of my own and then narrate it to her. So I started writing chapters. Like I would write a chapter and then narrate it to her. I'll just ask how is it, then it was like a kind of, I had not thought that it would get published, but then I had completed the book in like those times only. Like in that way I had completed the book. I was writing and then narrating it to my friends. Like I was taking, as I say, I always take personalities and characters from my friends around me. So in that book there is a group of friends. Like those friends, the characters, I have taken it from my real life friends, and I have sketched their characters into my book. So this book is about friendships, life, love, and it is basically, as I was a teenager at that time, not that much mature enough to think about
Comprehend,
yeah,
right?
comprehend something very much big. So I thought wrote the book which is about like for the group of teenagers only. Like they would love to read that book, because at that time felt that this is the book that would fit them, like at that point of time. So that was the book that was initiation with my friends only, like having fun and reading, being a storyteller, sharing ideas. Then after the book was finished, like one draft, when I went into college engineering, then one of my seniors, he read the book, the draft, and he said, if you edit it a few times, it is good enough to publish, and you should try publishing it, as it is a full-fledged novel. So
Hmm.
I thought that maybe I should try publishing once a time, because I love writing, I love reading. So I thought obviously I would like to have a book of my own published and on my hand. And then I decided to edit it of like 5 to 6 times, and then I sent the draft to few publishing houses, like 10 or 12 publishing houses. I obviously knew, like in India, it is very difficult for a debut person like who is going to publish. It's very difficult to to be given a chance to publish. So I was approached by 2 3 publishing houses. Like I got a reply back, and then I chose Authors Press as to publish and go ahead with that. So when I held the book, I was really proud. And in my family, I think everyone is into art and literature. And my grandfather, he himself, he was into art and literature. He was a writer. He did not publish, but then he used to write poems in Odia language, and he used to recite me stories when I was small. So from since a kid, I was very into art and literature. And obviously, me being published as holding the book on my hand, it was a really great moment for me and my parents, and they were really, really proud that I am doing something that I love, like doing it. It's my passion. And I did not want to look back from that time. I just knew that I wanted to write, and I wanted to write. I had started writing. I knew that I wanted to write every genre possible, that I would like to read more and write more. And from that
Right.
onwards, I has pursued this passion of mine.
That's really great. So just Once is a contemporary fiction or it's a love story? Like how do you generize like the
It's
genre?
a love story, yes, but then it has many more things rather than love. It has, as I said, friendships. It has how teenage life is. Yeah, I had set the book in a different context. Like it's divided into two parts. One part of being the happy portion of the life, and one part of being the happy, like the sad portion of the life of the
Okay.
protagonist, that is June. So the book is divided into two parts, and the book may is ended in such a way that it might trigger a sequel from the readers, or it might trigger a question in the mind of readers, like what
Hmm.
is going to
Hmm.
happen next. So it's really at that time, that was the thought while writing the book.
So you mentioned that the characters are influenced by your friends, school friends. So does any one of them know that you have written based on their characters, or if they
Yeah, yeah.
know, then what was their reaction to it? Like, how did they
They
react to this?
actually, I
Were they
have
like, please write nice things about me? Were they like, I hope you have written nice things about me?
No, they actually know. I was as I was mentioning, there a best friend with whom I shared my seat in my school. Her character is specific in the story. Like I have portrayed the protagonist June as my character, and then her character as Ashley. So it is like June and Ashley are a pair. So it is, and also I have a specific group of friends from school till now, and all of the things that are influenced from their character I take from, like some personality I take from him, some personality I take from her, and I portrayed them in my. They will crib, like, why have you written this? They won't even read my stories. They're not into reading that much, but then they're happy that I always take references from them.
I swear, it's like perks of having friends, a group of
Yeah.
friends. That's really wonderful. And I suppose I'll take a moment to let people know that all these books, including Dance with Me, is available. All these books are available on Amazon, as well as Dance with Me is available on our online bookstore. So do visit us. Our online bookstore link is given in the bio, Insta bio. So just visit that. Moving on to the next question, I want to talk about your short story collection, especially your first short story collection. The name is
Yeah.
really fascinating. It's, I think, it's a White Night Moonbeam, something like that.
Yeah.
And then you released Free Free
Free
Fall,
fall. Yeah.
right? So I think, but Free Fall is a collection of poetry as well as stories, right?
Yeah, it's a
It
mix of
has
both.
both. So, is it easier to write short stories than a full-length story, or it is vice versa? Like it's easier to write full-length story and not short story.
It's easier to write a short story because see, a full length novel you have in your mind, they would have specific number of maybe chapters or specific number
Hmm.
of page, like it should have
Right.
at least this much length it should be,
Hmm. Hmm.
otherwise it is of no use, like it's not a full
Hmm.
length novel. Short story,
Hmm.
um, you have short scenes or stories that in your mind that you can write in a short story, so it is obviously easier than a full-fledged novel. So White Night Moonbeams are a collection of 14 short stories, and
Okay.
they are focused on every kind of relationship. Like it is between it is focused on marriage, it is focused on divorce, it is focused on a mother and a daughter, a father and a son, it is focused on two best friends, it is like that, it is focused on every kind of relationship. It is a collection of 14 short stories, the 14 short stories that I wrote after I had written just once. And the title is White Night Moonbeams. Moonbeams means short stories, like short tales or something, and white night because I thought that it would be like completely opposite, white and night. So that is why I'd given it, because there are some kind of melancholy and
Hmm. Hmm.
sadness in the stories also, and then there are some certain kind of light and hope in the stories also. So that is why the title I gave it like White Night Moonbeams.
Great. So, you have already written and published, and it seems like you understand what you are getting into. So tell me, which phase in writing to get published is more important, you think? Not just writing, passion writing, but writing to eventually get published.
Which is more difficult.
Or more important, most
Okay.
important.
Yeah. So I think after you write, uh, see, if there is a collection you are doing, like collection of poetry or a short stories, you should know if you're suggesting a book name for some for your collection, then the stories or the collection that is being made should corroborate to the title of the
The
book
stories
also.
inside.
Yeah. So
Hmm,
after
hmm,
you
hmm.
are done with the collection, obviously it is very important to look back and see if all the things are in order and all the things are supporting to the title that you have chosen. And then before publishing, it is very important to check your you have to edit the book, because even if
Hmm,
we edit it 2 3 times, there are certain mistakes that remain. We are human. It
hmm,
goes
hmm, hmm,
like it does not come to our eyes. I have noticed few mistakes in my books that I have written. So it
hmm,
remains. It is
hmm,
very, but as I progressed, as I grew, I became more like very, conscious about the fact that everything
hmm,
should
hmm,
be correct, like at least spelling or grammar wise, it should be correct. So
hmm,
that
hmm,
is the first thing important to me after I write a book, for to edit,
hmm,
to check, read once. So while I read like a reader.
hmm.
Try to know that if it is actually connecting to you, it is actually worth reading, and then after that you try to publish. That is the most important thing for me right now.
Right. And I think you mentioned about the typos or the grammatical errors. I think I recently had come across a book published by Penguin Random House India. and there were a couple of typos and misprints, and I I I I wrote them pointing out those mistakes. And I think to err is human, so it happens. But then we can just do our best and
Yeah.
pray that everything goes well. So thanks for sharing your tips. Tell me, Prachi, what does Prachi do to unwind? Like if you are not studying, you're not attending your classes, you're not writing, then what else do you do to unwind?
Yeah, so mostly I really love traveling. So whenever I find a time, like also a weekend would do, I try to go to new like places. So I really wish, like I have a list of places that I want to be. Maybe right now for this lockdown I couldn't go. I was
Yes,
really
I can
upset,
understand.
and but then that was one of the things that I love to do. And also I as I mentioned, I have specific group of friends from school, and they have been a constant. And I always kind of hang out with them whenever I have time, like whenever I get free, I we hang out. It's like a instant plan, it is not at all decided. Sometimes I also paint whenever I'm in stress, or I like to, I would like to think over something, then I paint, because it is like my therapy. It calms me down. It is one of the things I like to do. And obviously, if I start watching a TV series or something, then I cannot stop. It is like a going on thing from my mind. I feel like, sometimes I get inspirations by watching TV. If I am a dire need of inspiration, I start watching series. I start watching series like anything, any series. Currently, my favorite is Turkish series, so that I continuously watch it so that I'll get some kind of inspiration, like some kind of insight to write if I am going through a writer's block. Or I read a lot. I bought so many books in the a lot of books in lockdown. So that was my way of unwinding myself when I'm not.
Unwinding.
Yeah.
Great. So, I'm really grateful that we are doing this. But then I think that we are almost through with this session. But then before you go, I have two more questions, and one question I'll quickly ask. Is there any particular genre that you want to explore in the coming months? Something very different, unlike uh, contemporary drama or romance that you have been exploring so far. So, is there any genre that you intend to explore in the future?
Yeah, actually, in the lockdown, as I had set in my mind that my next novel would not be exactly romance genre, which I had already written. So, I had thought of a story. It's a mystery and a thriller story, as I mentioned. So
Okay,
I
great.
did not want my next novel, as I'm stepping into this new genre, I wanted that before that I should write a couple of short stories of those genre. So I started
Okay.
writing couple of short stories of those genre, and try to reach to my, friends or the readers who read, so that
Mm-hmm.
they would give me feedback if I'm going on the right track, if I'm making the right
Right, right.
story or storyline or something like that, so that my novel
Mm-hmm.
would not be, you know that should be worth reading. So that is what I
Mm-hmm.
had planned for the near future, like mystery and genre. Also, there is this
Mm-hmm.
one genre I would like to explore. I had started it, but then I could not continue. But then I have the story in mind, I would write it. That is fantasy.
Okay,
I
all
have
right.
this. I am a big fan of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, and
Mm-hmm.
I always think that J.K. Rowling has created this world of Harry Potter, this world of Hogwarts. But that is really a commendable job. Like if I can create something of a fantasy world of my own, which should I'll be known for that, or I'll be be related to that. Like, yeah, this fantasy novel has been created by Prachi. So that is one of
Mm-hmm.
my that I want to write a very beautiful story of this fantasy genre.
Great. And when can we expect your next seventh book to get released?
There are a couple of books that I had planned. One is a very short story, like a very thin book. It would be very few pages, but then it would be very impactful. It is called Almost, and that I would like to release next. But then I have also couple of collections, like a collection of short stories and a collection of poems. And then I have mentioned that I'm writing a novel that is on the way.
Right.
So these are few of the works that would get published. But then currently, as I was a student and you know, I do not have that much financial you know to spend or over marketing or over promoting my book. I keep it restricted
Mm-hmm.
because I always think only write to express myself, to reach to the readers and to inspire them or to connect with them. My
Right.
really do not have that much idea about marketing or promotions or
Hmm. Hmm.
stuff like that.
Hmm.
But then when my college is getting over, like MBA, I would getting into the job profile. I think that time I would have, financially independent, and I would like to invest it, the things which I have not invested while I was writing those
Hmm.
books.
Hmm.
That is why I have kept the books on hold.
Also, Prachi, I'll be very candid to share that it's not always about money to promote a book,
Yeah.
since you are studying. So maybe I think the colleges are the best place to market and to create a buzz around a product. So maybe you can take advantage of your literary club or your literature department or whatever it is in a college to start a buzz about it. And it's not about the sales and the purchases, but it's about, as you had mentioned, to make people aware of the existence of the content, right? That a book,
Yeah.
such book exists. So maybe
Yeah.
you can do that. Also, I think publishers are very unfair, but then publishers need to take up marketing and promoting a book more seriously, which I think they do not do. But then
Yeah.
I also feel that they are publishing they're dealing with so many books, so it's not easy for them to devote time to one particular book even after a couple of months of its release. So, but then I think publisher needs to be proactive in marketing. But then there are book clubs like us that work with authors to promote and to let people know about the content. So yes, of course. So maybe we can have a chat offline to discuss options without financial involvement. How can a book be promoted or marketed? I can share some tips with you, and maybe we can, like, you can think about it. So thank you, Prachi, for
Thank you.
taking out your time and joining me today. I'm so glad that finally we are seeing each other face to face, and
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
we did that this live session. I hope we get to do another live session sometime in the coming months as well, when
Yeah.
your new book is released and we talk about your new book. Meanwhile, Dance with Me is one of our favorite romance books, and it's available on our online bookstore. So visit www.mysecretbookshelf.co.in to get your copy, and the buyers are going to receive a personalized handwritten note from Prachi because she is very generous and she is very kind. So yes, that's it from me, and thanks, Prachi. Um,
Thank you. Thank you so
uh,
much. It was really a
all my
pleasure.
best wishes, all my best wishes for your books and your coming book. And I hope you have a great Sunday ahead and a great week ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. You too. Have fun.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
So, friends, that was Prachi Prangya Agasti, the author of Dance with Me. And this book is available on our online bookstore. And I have read this book, and I think it's, of course, we have been reading many love stories from many authors, but why not try something which is equally better, I would say much better in content compared to those um, authors, those writers, which we see quite often, and why not give it a try? This story is full of I must say it's going to give you jitters, butterflies in the stomach as you read. There are, of course, love scenes, there are steamy scenes, and then there are those complicated emotions that both the protagonist Janvi and Arav go through. So that's it from me. Next Sunday we'll have another guest, and we'll talk more about love romance, because this month is all dedicated to love. So don't forget to check out our Valentine's sale as well. Go through our IG storyboard to see the books that are on sale. We are also giving out an additional 20% off code, which is available again on our IG board, IG storyboard. So take advantage, and don't let this opportunity go by. So take care, happy reading, and see you next Sunday. Bye.